Imagine walking into a prehistoric campsite 20,000 years ago. You expect hunters, you expect campfires, you expect stone tools, animal hides, and people constantly searching for food. What you probably don't expect is obesity. Yet that raises a surprisingly interesting question. Did ancient humans ever get fat? At first, the answer seems obvious. Of course not. How could they? Ancient people spent their days hunting, gathering, carrying water, making tools, building shelters, and traveling long distances on foot. There were no fast food restaurants, no vending machines, no delivery apps, no refrigerators filled with snacks. No one was spending 12 hours a day sitting in front of a screen. Surely everyone was lean. Surely everyone was fit. Surely obesity is a completely modern problem. But history is rarely that simple. To understand why, we need to forget everything we know about the modern world. Today, food is everywhere. In many countries, calories are easier to obtain than at any other point in human history. For most people, the challenge is not finding food, it's avoiding it. Ancient humans faced the exact opposite problem. For almost all of human history, food was uncertain. Some days were successful, others were not. A hunting expedition might provide enough meat to feed a group for days, or it might fail completely. A patch of berries could be abundant one season and disappointing the next. A drought could reduce available food. A harsh winter could make survival difficult. This unpredictability shaped the human body in profound ways. Because evolution doesn't care whether food is available today, it cares whether you'll survive tomorrow. Imagine two prehistoric humans. Both live in the same environment. Both face the same challenges. One stores energy efficiently whenever food is abundant. The other burns through every extra calorie immediately. A famine arrives. Food becomes scarce. Which individual has the better chance of surviving? The answer is obvious: the person carrying extra stored energy. In other words, body fat is not a design flaw, it's an adaptation, one of the most useful survival tools ever produced by evolution. Fat stores energy, provides insulation, protects organs, and most importantly, helps people survive periods when food becomes unavailable. From an evolutionary perspective, fat can be incredibly valuable. In fact, many animals rely on exactly the same strategy. Bears accumulate enormous fat reserves before hibernation. Seals carry thick layers of blubber. Migratory birds often gain significant weight before long journeys. Even squirrels spend months storing food and building reserves. Nature repeatedly rewards preparation. Humans are no exception. The real question is not whether ancient humans could gain fat. They absolutely could. The question is how often it happened. And surprisingly, the answer may vary dramatically depending on where and when those humans lived. Consider hunter-gatherers living in tropical environments. Food might be available year-round. Fruit, fish, small animals, tubers, plant foods. Such groups often remained relatively lean compared to modern populations. But lean does not mean starving. Many hunter-gatherer societies were actually healthy and well-nourished. They simply lived in environments where daily activity remained high and excessive calorie surpluses were uncommon. Now imagine a very different situation. A successful hunting group kills a mammoth. Suddenly, there is an enormous amount of food available, far more than any single person can consume immediately. For days, perhaps weeks, calories become abundant. People eat. Energy reserves increase. Some body fat accumulates. This is exactly what evolution would encourage. When food appears, store what you can, because the next shortage might be just around the corner. Archaeologists have discovered evidence suggesting that prehistoric humans were often remarkably adaptable in how they managed food resources. Some groups experienced seasonal abundance. Others endured seasonal scarcity. Many alternated between the two. And whenever feast and famine cycles occur, the human body responds accordingly. This pattern still exists today. Many animals gain and lose weight throughout the year. Ancient humans likely did something similar. But could they become genuinely overweight? The answer appears to be yes, at least occasionally. One clue comes from human biology itself. Modern humans possess an extraordinary ability to store fat compared to most other primates. Chimpanzees can gain fat, gorillas can gain fat, but humans are unusually good at it. In fact, humans carry significantly more body fat than our closest living relatives. Even healthy, athletic humans often possess far more stored fat than wild primates. Why? Because our ancestors evolved in environments where energy storage was valuable. Every calorie represented insurance against uncertainty. The better you stored energy, the better your odds of surviving difficult periods. This evolutionary history helps explain something curious. Many people today struggle to avoid gaining weight. Our bodies evolved for scarcity. Our environment changed dramatically, but our biology did not. The same mechanisms that once protected our ancestors can now work against us. Yet ancient humans were not all the same. Lifestyle mattered enormously. A hunter-gatherer in Ice Age Europe lived very differently from a fisherman on a tropical coastline. A nomadic group traveled differently than a sedentary farming community. And this is where the story becomes particularly interesting, because agriculture changed everything. For most of human history, people moved frequently. Then, beginning roughly 12,000 years ago in several parts of the world, some groups began farming. Instead of constantly following food, they started producing it. Villages appeared. Permanent settlements emerged. Food storage became possible on a much larger scale. Grain could be accumulated. Harvests could create substantial surpluses. For the first time, some individuals gained access to reliable food supplies year after year. Not everyone benefited equally. Many early farmers actually suffered from nutritional problems. Their diets often became less diverse than those of hunter-gatherers. But certain individuals occupied privileged positions: chiefs, leaders, elites, powerful families. These people sometimes had greater access to food than the average person, and archaeological evidence occasionally hints at individuals who may have carried significant extra body weight. Ancient artwork offers another fascinating clue. Across multiple civilizations, artists sometimes depicted larger body types. Not always, but often enough to raise questions. In some societies, body fat symbolized wealth, status, success, abundance. If food is scarce, excess weight can become a visible sign that someone has access to resources others do not. This pattern appears repeatedly throughout history. For much of the ancient world, being slightly overweight was not necessarily viewed negatively. In some contexts, it could signal prosperity. Of course, artistic representations can be misleading. Artists exaggerate. Cultures create symbols. Not every statue reflects reality. But when combined with historical records and biological evidence, a picture begins to emerge. Ancient humans were fully capable of becoming overweight. The conditions simply differed from those we experience today. The greatest difference wasn't biology, it was environment. Modern humans live surrounded by calories. Ancient humans usually did not. Today, many people can consume thousands of calories without significant physical effort. Ancient people generally had to earn every calorie. Food required hunting, fishing, gathering, farming, grinding grain, preparing meals, transporting resources. The entire process demanded energy. As a result, obesity was probably far less common than it is today. But less common does not mean non-existent. There is also another factor we often overlook: age. Many prehistoric humans never reached old age. Life was dangerous. Disease, injury, accidents, violence, predators, all reduced average life expectancy. Yet individuals who survived into later adulthood may have experienced different body compositions than younger adults. Metabolism changes with age. Activity levels change. Body fat distribution changes. The same biological processes that affect people today also affected humans thousands of years ago. Then there is genetics. Even within the same population, people vary enormously. Some individuals naturally gain weight more easily. Others remain lean despite abundant food. Ancient humans were no different. Variation has always existed. Some prehistoric individuals probably remained thin throughout their lives. Others likely accumulated more body fat whenever conditions allowed. Perhaps the most surprising part of this story is that our species may owe some of its success to the ability to become fat. That sounds strange, but consider the alternatives. A body that cannot store energy struggles during famine. A body that stores energy efficiently survives uncertainty. For most of human history, uncertainty was everywhere. The ability to carry energy reserves helped humans colonize deserts, cross mountain ranges, survive harsh winters, explore unfamiliar environments, and endure periods when food disappeared entirely. The very trait that frustrates many people today may have helped our ancestors survive for hundreds of thousands of years. So, did ancient humans get fat? Yes, at least some of them did. The archaeological, biological, and historical evidence strongly suggests that humans have always been capable of gaining significant body fat. What changed is not the human body. What changed is the world around it. Modern obesity is unusual, not because humans suddenly learned how to gain weight. Humans have always been able to do that. What's unusual is living in an environment where food is constantly available, physical activity is often optional, and calories can be obtained with almost no effort at all. Our ancestors evolved for a world of uncertainty. We built a world of abundance. And sometimes our ancient biology still behaves as if the next famine is right around the corner. The next time someone claims that obesity is purely a modern invention, remember this: long before cities, long before supermarkets, long before nutrition labels, and long before anyone counted calories, human bodies were already doing exactly what evolution designed them to do, preparing for a future that might not arrive, by storing energy for tomorrow.